Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mind of Sai Marie, where clarity is ritual and correction is sacred, at least tonight. Um, I gotta reveal a breach. We're going to talk about Portland, Oregon, my neighbor city, a creative sibling, and a place that has been miscast in the national imagination as something it is absolutely not. Let me be clear. There is no way at all that Portland, Oregon is war-ravaged. It is not a dystopian wasteland. It is a living, breathing city, layered, flawed, vibrant, and healing. There's a narrative that has just began circulating, one of chaos, destruction, and collapse. But that narrative is not rooted in the truth. It's rooted in fear and political theater and in the kind of distortion that erases the real work being done by real people. So let's talk about the correction. In the first half of 2025, Portland, Oregon saw a 51% drop in homicides. That's not a typo, that isn't a milestone. Violent crime overall fell by 17%. Aggravated assaults, robberies, and sexual assault all went down. And those aren't just statistics, they are lives saved. These are neighborhoods that are breathing easier. These are families not grieving. And this didn't happen by accident. It happened because Portland invested in community-led safety. Programs like Portland Ceasefire, evidence-based, focused, and collaborative are working. The city united its public safety bureaus, violence prevention offices, and grassroots partners. That is what healing looks like. Not perfection, but progress. Now let's talk about the myth, the one that paints Portland as a failed city. That myth is convenient for those who benefit from fear, but it's not real. Yes, Portland does have its challenges. Yes, there are neighborhoods that face higher crime rates, as is the case with most metropolitan cities in the United States of America. And that is true of every major city. But unlike many, Portland is actively addressing it with data, with care, and with community. I've walked Portland streets. I've seen murals blooming on boarded windows. I've heard poets speak in parks. I've watched activists feed the hungry and artists reclaim space. Portland is not at all war ravaged. It's war resilient. It's boundary setting. It's legacy building. So if you hear someone say Portland is lost, correct them. If you see a headline that distorts, repost with clarity. If you live here or near here or love someone who does, speak the truth. Post your videos, take your pictures. Let them see what Portland actually looks like, because it's definitely not a war zone. It is a city in ritual, and today we seal that in truth in this archive. I want you to understand that Portland continues to be a place that's picked apart because of the spirits of the people that live here in Oregon. And we need to go back, way back. Because when you really break this down, most of the people that are descendants of those who are here a long time in Oregon recognize that this is the trailblazer home. Let that sink in and what it means. We're talking about the pioneers, the ones that said, fuck the South. I'll brave all of the Western frontier, animals, whatever, and I'll get the hell out of here towards the land where the gold is. And I'll be rich, and y'all can just kiss our behind. That mentality has not left the West Coast. Another thing to consider is that Portland, Oregon is a port city. It is one of the largest on the West Coast. And that is not to be taken lightly. This is a city that sees some very large vessels go through. It is crucial to the lifeblood that goes out through freight across America. There's reasons why this is happening. Another one of them is the forestry in the state of Oregon. But mostly it's about the people and their willingness to continue to fight that fight for we're going to be free, we're going to make money, we're going to do what it takes, just do it, which is the very kind of attitude that most Oregonians have, no matter which part of the political spectrum they might fall under. So, see, there's a lot of commonality there. And that's important to talk about too. Portland, by comparison to an actual war-torn place such as Ukraine or Palestine, is nowhere near the definition of war-ravaged. And that is a propagated lie. I'm going to just call it exactly what it is. It is a propaganda piece. It is absolutely untrue. And again, let me emphasize, I'm not saying that Portland doesn't have issues. I'm from Oregon. I know what Oregon's problems are. I know the roots and the ugliest, darkest histories of my state. Trust me, we could go on episodes, a whole program could be born out of that. However, I digress. Tonight we're talking about the City of Roses. And that's what I said. Yes, Portland is the City of Roses. Look up the Portland International Rose Test Garden. A beautiful place. Take a peek at what Portland has to offer that's actually the good things, instead of breaking down 4 blocks in the city and thinking that that actually measures up to the wholeness of a metropolis. We're talking about a giant city. And no, it's not New York, and no, it's not Chicago, which is ironic because Chicago is also being assaulted by these propagandist lies. But still, Portland is quite large, and it's there in the name, Portland. Okay, so people, please be vigilant and understand that this is very much intentional to try to antagonize people when there is absolutely no merit to what is being displayed in the media about this. What the president said is absolutely untrue. Take a peek at Ukraine. Take a peek at Gaza. Go look at what war actually looks like in war-torn areas, and the infrastructure and the people suffering and the genocide and what it looks like in the aftermath of when military has been deployed in an area that is under battle or declared war. And the difference is astronomical. Again, not saying the city doesn't have some urban disrepair. Not saying that there aren't things that can't be changed or bettered. There always is. And again, I go back to the constitutional statement that in an effort to form a more perfect union meant that America was never great, my friends. But she had the potential to be if we worked diligently and united towards freedom and equality for all, according to that founding document. And that is what I leave with you all tonight. Portland, Oregon, the City of Roses, is most certainly not a ravaged wasteland. Thank you.